Good afternoon, students. How are you all? I hope everyone is doing good at home and they are enjoying their studies at home. Uh, and maybe their parents are also enjoying the studies with them. So, today I Sarita Sani, and I'm going to discuss the further topic for your chapter number 1, Introduction to Microeconomics. So, introduction part, we have to discuss today's topic, that is central problems of an economy. And as you know, you are now about to pass your grade 10 and going to promote in grade 11. So I'm here to discuss few topics we have already covered in the last last lesson. So the topics which we have covered in the last lesson was what is economics. We have discussed about that, what is the definition of economics. Then we discussed about what is an economy. Then we discussed vital processes related to an economy. Then we discussed why we study economics. Then we discussed one important concept, that is scarcity. So it is an issue for everyone. We always feel we have less number of things, so that is main issue, scarcity, that is also there. Then we discussed about economic problem, we discussed about micro and macroeconomics, we discussed about normative and positive economics. So almost half of the chapter we have covered in the earlier topics, in the earlier lesson. So today's topic is little bit connected with the last topic we have covered, that is related to economic problem, and then we will discuss economic problem in detail with the help of central problems of an economy. Then we are going to discuss, we have to solve some questions which we are going to cover in today's lesson. So to economic problem, so it is a problem of choice involving satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources having alternative uses. So what is an economic problem? Economic problem is related to choice. So what is the choice? We have got many wants, like we have got many desires to be fulfilled, but the resources which we have to fulfill our desires, that is less in number, and even those resources have alternative uses. So I can give you one example, like if I have one resource, that is milk, and somebody has the want for, somebody wants, like we can take the example of a family, and one person, the elder person of the family, wants milk for only drinking, and for the kids are asking for the sweets, so they can make the sweets out of that. But other members of the family, the adults, they are asking about to make it as a curd, or they can use it as for making kheer. So all these things, all are the uses, and even the smaller of the kids, they need it for drinking. So we can say the limited resource is milk. We have got alternative uses, and the wants of the people are even unlimited. That means everybody wants to use it for their own purpose, and they can use it for many things. So here is the example of this. Similarly, it happens with us. We got less money. We have got many alternative uses for that money. Either we can use it for buying makeup. We can use it for buying even eatables. We can use it for buying only basic necessities. So that is the alternative uses, and the money is limited resource, and the unlimited wants is whatever the things that come in our mind where we can spend money. So that is the point. Now, what are the reasons behind economic problems? So I hope with the definition you people are already clear with this point. The first thing is scarcity of resources. The resources which we have to satisfy our wants are less in number. Scarce means less, deficient. So it is less in number. We have shortages of these resources. Next thing is unlimited wants. Human wants are unlimited, uncountable. The minute we are like able to fulfill our first want, we are ready with the second even. So unlimited wants are there. Next thing is alternative uses. Even the resources are less and we have got many uses for those resources. So these are the reasons why economic problem occurs. So next thing with economic problem, we can understand all these things are generally we also watch, and every country is also watching the same thing. Let's move to the next slide. So here we have the flowchart of central problems of an economy and what are the reasons behind the central problems of economy. So here we can say the allocation of resources. This is the first point under reasons. Then efficient use or fuller utilization of resources. So whatever our priority is, so if we are using our resources for satisfaction of for doing that for buying that thing, so we call it as fuller utilization of resources. Next thing is growth of resources. As we got lot many uses of the particular thing, so we can use it for the growth of our we can use it for efficiently, and that also for the economic development. So this is all the reasons why central problems of an economy occurs. So what are the three basic central problems of an economy? Let's move on to the next slide. So here I have mentioned, but uh, it is more in the next slide. So let's see central problems of an economy. The first problem is what to produce. हमें क्या produce करना है, हमें क्या बनाना है, ठीक है. So this is the first problem. Next is how much to produce. If I want to produce something, तो कितना produce करना है, कितना चाहिए. I have to produce for my family or I have to produce for many people. So it is up to you. Then next thing is how to produce. अब हमें कैसे produce करना है. So it may be with the help of your capital intensive techniques or labor intensive techniques. So it is related to you. Next thing is again for whom to produce. Whether we have to produce the goods for rich people or the poor people. So it is up to you. किसके लिए कितना प्रोड्यूस करना है. So these all are the basic central problems of an economy. So what to produce, we have got two choices. Whether we are producing for the consumer goods. Consumer goods means the people who are using directly for their satisfaction. And another thing is capital goods are the goods which we are utilizing for producing more. For example, is your machines which we are using. Fine. So I guess the basic things are covered under all the problems of an economy are clear to you. So let's move on to the next slide. So here is the first problem, what to produce. Classification of goods. So what to produce? I have got first thing is consumer goods. So consumer goods are of two types. The first thing that we are going to discuss in this is what to produce. If I have to produce any goods, so that is the consumer goods which I am preferring to produce here. So there can be of two types of consumer goods. One is single use goods. So we consider in this the single use goods like milk, like we can say money. Even if once used we cannot renew it. So water even, so we can also face the scarcity of water because of this reason. So single use means it cannot be used further. Once it was consumed, it will not be replaced again. So that is single use goods. Next is durable goods. So durable goods can be used for many times. Like we have AC and we bought one AC and we can use it for many years. So that is durable goods. So I hope this is clear to you. So consumer goods can be of two types. So consumer goods are directly which we are using for our satisfaction. So directly we are getting the consumption, we are consuming it and we are getting the satisfaction. Durable goods even are those goods which can be used for many years. So we can use this under the consumer goods. Next thing is the second type of goods which we can produce when we have to think about what to produce. So that is producer goods. Producer goods are those goods Producer goods are those goods which are used to produce goods that can be also of single use and that can be of durable goods. So how can be that? I've already explained you producer goods are those which we produce, like services which we produce. So producer goods are the part of this. Next thing is like here we can even talk about the wartime goods. So these are the part of this producer goods. Next is even we can talk about the machines which we are producing. So producer goods are these kind of goods. Next, let's move on to the next slide. And is the second problem, how to produce. How to produce is basically concerned with the techniques, so how we can earn maximum profit. So the basic objective for the producer is what to produce, sorry, how to produce, and for that how to produce, we have to earn maximum profit. So they are using two techniques for this. One is labor intensive technique, another is capital intensive technique. Labor intensive technique already you have learned in your SST, I guess in geography. So that is even similar here even. So if we are producing some goods with the help of manual labor, so that is called labor intensive technique. So in this more labor is required and less capital is used. So that in this case also we are earning maximum profits. So another case is of capital intensive technique. Here more capital is required but less labor is required as we are using machines. So capital intensive technique can be also utilized. So the cost of technique of production determined by the prices of inputs, and the input prices are determined by price mechanism in the factor market. So this is how I can explain you how to produce. So this is also the second problem of a second basic problem of an economy. Let's move on to the next slide and we are going to discuss the third problem of an economy. So third problem of an economy is for whom to produce. So for whom to produce, here it is. The decision for whom to produce is taken by the government. Yes, so government has to take always the decision whether we have to produce the goods for personal distribution or whether we have to produce goods for functional distribution. Now, what do you mean by personal distribution? If a farmer grows crops only for himself, then it is just for personal distribution. And when I talk about the functional distribution, if the farmer is producing goods for commercial purpose, then it is the functional distribution. Next thing is the main objective of the government is that adequate quantity of necessities must be produced. So for personal objective, they are using the goods personal distribution. They are using the goods on the basis of the quantity that family requires, and for the functional distribution, the goods will be produced in large number. So government controls production in the private sector as well as to achieve this objective so as to ensure the availability of necessities. So this is also the problem that government has to face, and they have to uh, channelize it with nice manner so that everybody will get whatever they are in need of. Next thing is which we are going to so that is the questions. So the first question for you have to do today is define economic problem. Second question along with this is explain reasons for economic problems. We have covered already, but again I need you to do it because this question has asked by CBSE many times. Next is what are the basic problems of an economy? So the basic three problems we have discussed: what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. And now you have to explain each and every problem. First problem, explain the problem of what to produce. Then the second problem is we have to discuss in the fourth question what is the problem of how to produce. So you have to explain all the things in your words in the simple language as you can make it. I have given few examples, but you can add on with more examples. So describe the problem of for whom to produce in detail. So that is the last question. So that is all for today. In the end, I would say thank you to you. God bless you all. Do well and study hard so that you will not suffer in your studies because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll be there with you. Our school is there with you to support your studies. So if you have any queries, any problem regarding your subject, please you can give me call regarding your this any problem in these topics. So we will discuss in details. Thank you so much. God bless you. Enjoy your time with family. Enjoy your time for studies and do well in the upcoming exams. Thank you. God bless you.